Channel 98.9 FM, Corry's Radio Alternative. This is Silvis, and with me in the studio today, I have Todd Crowley. Hi, Todd.
Hello.
So the reason you're here is you're going to be playing tonight at North Hills Golf Course, correct?
Yes. Weekly music that's sponsored by Bill Roach, and he invited me to come and do the program.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about that. What time does that start?
It starts at 7 o'clock, and I'm really going to be the host and do most of the music, but I've invited some of my friends from my Tuesday night song circle to come up and play a few songs and kind of share that time on Bill's gig up there.
Yeah, so we want to invite everybody to stop down to North Hills Golf Course. That's tonight at 7 o'clock. Todd Crowley and some of his friends will be there playing for you. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Todd. Some of our listeners may not be familiar with you, or maybe they haven't seen you perform in the past. So tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from, your musical background, things of that nature.
Well, I'm from Virginia originally, and I moved up here to Northwest Pennsylvania about 8 years ago and to Corry 4 years ago. Since retiring from teaching, I've been on the road quite a bit with Todd's Musical Petting Zoo. It's a collection of folk instruments, and I take around to big festivals and small fairs all across the country and Canada. I'm kind of winding that part of it down, and I do have the instruments at my house on Maple Avenue. And Tuesday nights we have a community song circle that everybody is welcome to attend. And you can bring your own instrument and play something that's hanging on the wall, or just listen. It's all, That's
Tuesday nights?
Tuesday nights.
And where does that take place?
It takes place at 216 Maple Avenue.
All right.
Right across from the city park.
Yep. And that's 7 till 9 on Tuesdays.
Right.
Okay, there you go, folks. Head on down there on Tuesday nights. That'll give you something else to do. That sounds like a good time. A little bit more about your musical background. When did you get started playing?
Well, I've been playing the auto harp for 35 years. I was introduced to it by Brian Bowers, who's a virtuoso full-time musician. We became friends when I was a basketball coach, and his son was on my basketball team many years ago.
Uh-huh.
But I really first loved to sing when I was a boy, and I didn't play any instruments until I got much older. And then from the auto harp, it branched out to dulcimers and guitars and banjos, and the whole realm of folk instruments is what interests me. And so I've sung and performed at some major festivals in the U.S. and Canada, and it's been kind of a good gig.
You mentioned some of the instruments that you play. What are all of the instruments that people will see you play from time to time?
Well, that's, let me see. I have to think about it alphabetically.
Okay.
Auto harp is first, that's A. B, banjo, bouzouki. C, cuatro is a Puerto Rican instrument, 12-stringed instrument. Uh-huh. Dulcimer, mountain dulcimer. I play quite a few other things with strings.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yep.
Some of them are less known than others, and some are just things that everybody would recognize.
Yeah, it sounds very interesting. Some of those instruments you've mentioned, I have not personally ever had the opportunity to hear, so that's I guess a good way to expand your horizon. If you haven't heard some of those instruments, is head on down Todd's place on Tuesdays. And of course, you're playing tonight at North Hills Golf Course at 7 o'clock, so everybody head on down there. We're speaking with Todd Crowley, who is playing at North Hills tonight. How would you describe your sound, your musical sound, Todd?
It's acoustic. It's traditional folk, primarily. I don't plug in too often. It's mostly just storytelling songs and
right.
Old folk music, and Woody Guthrie and Bob Dylan, people like that.
The good stuff, yeah. Now, you mentioned a couple of artists right there. Who are your influences?
Well, I'd say Woody Guthrie is a major influence. Pete Seeger, Brian Bowers, who I mentioned earlier, is a auto harp guru. Tom Russell is a really fine singer-songwriter that I listen to quite a bit.
Do you have any current projects aside from maybe some shows that are coming up? Are you working on any recorded music or anything of that nature?
No, not right now. Like I said, I'm winding down the traveling part of my musical petting zoo, and so I want to figure out something that I can do locally to make it more of a Corry community project rather than something that I'm constantly on the move with. But
Right.
that's just sort of an idea that's formulating in my mind. I don't have a specific plan yet.
Yeah. But you'll come up with something.
I usually do.
Right. Aside from tonight at North Hills, where can folks see you play next?
Well, the next night, Saturday night, I'm playing at the Albion Little Church on the Hill Coffee House, which is over on the other end of the county.
Mm-hmm.
And gigs like that kind of come at me periodically. I don't have a regular set
Sure.
place that I play. I sometimes will play at the Saturday night Song Circle, not Song Circle, but the Saturday night open mic that Kelly Way
Sure.
hosts
Right.
at the other golf course.
Yep. That's up at Fork and Barrel, I believe.
Fork and Barrel, yeah. So there are opportunities around town for playing.
Right.
I mean, the Friday night with Bill, he'll give you a full evening to play. Saturday night, you're on stage, but you're playing 3 or 4 songs and sharing it with a bunch of other musicians. And then Tuesday night at my place, it's just more of a in the round. Everybody takes a turn until we run out of time, and so each one is a little different format. And then in the summertime, we get things like the Sunday in the Park or the
Right.
Corry Fest or the Thursday night music. I think it's Friday or Thursday or Friday farmers market. So
I believe it's Friday. Yeah.
so there's a lot of things to do, particularly when the weather warms
Sure.
up.
What can attendees expect to hear from you tonight?
Well, I don't always have a set list. It's kind of how I feel when I get there.
Right.
I mean, I will bring at least 3 instruments so that I'm not playing the same instrument all night long. And part of what I do is when a song comes to mind and I figure out which instrument I want to play, I'll switch them up. Hopefully there'll be some songs that people can relate to and enjoy the stories behind them. And
Yep.
I don't just perform and sing. I kind of, as an educator, tell people, where this song came from and
Nice.
what this instrument is and so on. So I try not to overdo that part because people are there for the entertainment, but I think it makes it interesting.
No, I think, a little bit of that is interesting. Yeah, it does. It adds a nice touch. I know myself, I always like to hear, where did this song come from? Or, maybe some background information. That's interesting. We're talking with Todd Crowley. Again, he's playing tonight at North Hills Golf Course, beginning at 7 o'clock. We want everybody to head on out there and see Todd tonight. I guess you're going to play us a song, hopefully. Before we get to that, I got just one more question. What's some of the music that you listen to these days?
Well, these days, Tom Russell is one, Dave Alvin is another, and then I go on YouTube and I listen to them, and then that connects me to others like Sam Baker. A lot of them are I would call them the Texas songwriters, whose influence dates back to Townes Van Zandt, and then Bob Dylan before that, and then Woody Guthrie before that. But at any given time, it's those types of
Gotcha.
singer-songwriters.
All right. Are you ready to break out your instrument? Now tell us a little bit about this instrument that you're holding right now.
This instrument is called an auto harp. It's 36 strings. It's they've been built in the United States for more than 100 years, and I'm told in 1900 more auto harps were sold in the United States than guitars. It was at one time a very popular,
Sure.
they called a parlor instrument. And my house, this is an interesting connection. My house is a Sears Craftsman house. It was built in 1913.
Right. Yeah.
Right in the era when the auto harp would have been popular, and people could order instruments through catalogs,
Right.
a Sears catalog, and you could order a house through a Sears catalog.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like
That's how you did it.
Sears, things would show up at the train tracks, and
Yeah.
you'd send your wagon out to pick them up. And
Yep.
anyway, that
Seems like we've kind of gotten back to that a lot with the internet. Things just kind of show up at your house. You order them
that's
online
true.
now.
The Amazon and
Yeah.
Sears of its day,
That's right. So,
Although I don't think you can order a house from Amazon.
not anymore.
yet.
No, you can't do that anymore. But so this is radio, and I know folks can't see the instrument that Todd's holding right now. But basically, I'm going to say it's about 2 feet long, maybe 36 inches, about a foot across, and it's 36 strings.
Right.
Okay.
And it has this series of chord bars down here. So
Yeah.
when you press a bar down and strum it, you get a different chord.
Yeah. Looks like there's about 12 of those.
There's 12 of them on this
12?
particular auto
Yeah.
harp, yeah.
Okay. Very interesting looking piece of equipment. And I love the sound so far. So what are you going to play for us?
I think I'm going to do a song called Over Yonder in a Minor Key. It was written by Woody Guthrie. It's just kind of a fun little introduction. He's introducing himself to a sweet little girl that he's kind of interested in. And
Nice.
it's kind of their little romance back and forth. But it's really about how singing songs help us in our lives.
Okay, Todd Crowley, take it away.
I come from a place called Ofusky. Had a little girl in a hollow tree. I said, little girl, it's plain to see, there ain't nobody that can sing like me. There ain't nobody that can sing like me. There ain't nobody that can sing like me. She said, it's hard for me to see how one little boy got so ugly. I said, little girlie, that might be, but there ain't nobody that can sing like me. There ain't nobody that can sing like me. Way over yonder in the minor key. Way over yonder in the minor key. There ain't nobody that can sing like me. We walked on down to the Buckeye Creek to watch the frog eat the goggle-eye bee. Listen to the west wind whistle to the east, and there ain't nobody that can sing like me. There ain't nobody that can sing like me. Now I have walked a long, long way. I still come back to my Corry days. Led many a girl since then astray, saying there ain't nobody that can sing like me. There ain't nobody that can sing like me. Way over yonder in the minor key. Way over yonder in the minor key. There ain't nobody that can sing like me. There ain't nobody that can sing like me. There ain't nobody that can sing like me. And that's a fact.
I would agree. Nobody can sing like you. Well, that was nice. Very nice.
I had fun with that song. I was doing a little program out in Albuquerque, New Mexico for kids.
Okay.
Mostly in the probably 3rd to 6th grade range. And at the end of it, I always like to see where their reaction is. And so I said, what do you think that line there? I gave them all a chance to repeat it. There ain't nobody that can sing like me. So they repeat the line, and they may get internalized their own. And then I give them a chance to say what they think it means. And this little girl says, I think it means that we're all different, and everybody's got their own.
Right.
And I said, "You're a smart little girl."
That's right.
So I like to do that song to invite people into the song circle, because even though they might not think they're that great a singer, nobody can sing like they can, and so we want everybody's voice to be
Want to
part
hear
of
them?
that.
Yeah, that's right. Get everybody involved. Absolutely. I love the texture of that instrument. First time I've heard it. That's a very interesting sound. I like it. Well, thank you, Todd. Thanks for coming. We're speaking with Todd Crowley. We'd like to have you back again, but we're going to wrap things up for today. We got to get going. You're going to be down at North Hills tonight at 7 o'clock. We want to have everybody come on down and see Todd, and he's going to have some other guests with him as well. Right?
Thank you, Brian.
All right.
Appreciate your having me over here today and
Yep.
helping to promote the music in Corry.
Yep. Absolutely.